My name is Garrett Sims. We have a great episode of Sports Timeout for you. This week I sat down with my former teammate, Gabe Arrington of the 2021 OHS football team. Gabe wanted to share his perspective of that season, kind of everything that happened and how it kind of turned out. So a big thank you goes out to Gabe for sharing his time, and I think this turned out fantastic. We talked about doing this last summer as I was starting the podcast. So to finally see it come to fruition was awesome. And a big thank you goes out to him for making it happen. With all that being said, let's get into the episode right now. Before we start this episode, we want to give a special shout out to the Bank of Odessa for supporting Sports Timeout. Bank of Odessa has been locally owned and operated since 1880. They have 4 locations, 2 in Odessa, 1 in Oak Grove, and 1 in Lamont. You'll find them at bankofodessa.com, member FDIC. Welcome back to Sports Timeout. I have a good friend here with me, a 2020 graduate, Gabe Arrington. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man.
We've been talking for a little bit because I know we wanted to talk about your senior year, your senior football season, because that was such a different kind of season for you guys. I know it didn't go the way you guys had planned it to, but I think I talked to Coach Clemens and Coach Thomas, and I think you know this as well as anybody, that team would have did what it was supposed to do, and I think that was winning a state title.
Yeah. What was nice, too, is we had a lot of kids from 2019 that were on the state championship team that played. And so we've had those people that they're there, they've been in the game, they know what it takes to get to the game. And it helped that my class and your class, we were all close, and it was kind of the same way with my senior class and the juniors younger. So it was kind of like the same camaraderie, and it was like almost the same team.
And, you know, you get all them different role players, and you know what it takes to get to a state title. So, you know, bringing back your senior class and having the leadership that you did, because you were a huge instrumental part of that. You were a very vocal leader and led by example. So I wanted to talk to you a little about your teammates and your senior class and what it meant to have that group.
Yeah, it was nice. We, a lot of us called ourselves the Original 8. We've been playing football together since flag football. So it's really good to have that chemistry. We played all the way up from flag football, tackle football, all the way up through middle school. I mean, some of those guys' dads raised us on the football field. And then the ones of us that stuck it out, we had our original 8 or 9 people that were there our senior year. So we all kind of knew how to play together. We knew who was strong in what area and kind of who had different type of specials in that different group, and you knew where they were strongest at.
And I'm going to put you on the spot, but could you name those 8 guys? I know there's Bryce Palmer and...
So we had Bryce Palmer, Brett Duncan, gosh, you are putting me on the... Me, Houston Egan, Jake Evinger, Nick Sholey, Ammon Dawson, and who am I forgetting?
Would I be wrong if I say Kremen?
Yeah, okay, so Caleb came in when we were 4th grade. But yeah, we would include him in that for sure. I mean, I love the kid to death. We played football since we were little bitty. I remember talking to him in 3rd or 4th grade. We had the same teacher, and he just moved here or something along those lines. And he asked me, he was like, hey, do you think I'd be any good at football? I was like, heck yeah, dude. Come play Little League football with us. And yeah, then he started playing football, and he turned out to be an amazing athlete.
And, you know, I wanted to kind of ask you about, so you got to win state the year before, and I wanted to kind of ask you what that meant for you, because that was a different experience for each one of us. And then I wanted to ask you kind of, how did that help you going into the next season and trying to do the same thing?
So, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, that's for sure. We got the luxury of playing at Mizzou Stadium. We also got the luxury of having the home team locker room, so that was nice. Seeing a division, which I think that helped a lot of kids too, is they see what it's like to be a D1 football player per se. Like, you're in the locker room, you're like, wow, this is what they get. And it kind of pushed a lot of kids the next year to be like, yo, this is what I want to do. I want to play football. Having the individual walkouts and your name called is something else. Whether you were playing that day or not, it was just something else to experience. I think it helped because we had that good feeling, and once the final whistle blew that we were state champs, it was that feeling that I can't even describe. It was like, we are the best in the state in this class, and nobody beat us. It wasn't even close. Like every game, I don't even know the statistics, but it just wasn't close at all.
Yeah, I could attest to that for sure. You know, and you look at it and you say, because for you had to resettle back in and say, I still have one more year left of football. I still have to get my head on straight because, like you said, you knew the goals and the expectations you guys had and where you guys wanted to be because you guys were that great of a group. So how was that for you, kind of that next season, getting back to work?
Honestly, for me, it was just it was easy. Every year, I've done it since I was a little kid. It was just, I knew when it was time to lock in, when it was time to start dialing it in. And it wasn't even not too long after we won the state championship. A bunch of us seniors were like, hey, man, we know what we got to do next year. And we had a mindset that we were like, we got to be better than that team because they're going to throw harder teams at us. Southern Boone, for example. And I think COVID got in the way of that too. We weren't really in shape, so we can say it now, but we couldn't talk about it back then. Misha and the high school and everybody could cancel us, but we still did our own little like, hey man, we need to get up and run. Let's go condition. We couldn't do it at we could do it at somebody's house, or whether it's, you know, working out at the gym. We would all get together and work out at the gym, but we couldn't be on the actual football field just because of all their rules and stuff like that. They don't want you there. I think as a team we conditioned a week straight. That's it. That's all the conditioning the team had. But thankfully we had that relationship with the juniors and seniors that when we would work out, we were all like close. So we were just like, hey, let's go work out. So we weren't in the worst shape, but we definitely weren't in the best shape we could have been.
I want to bring this up, and I might get in trouble for bringing it up, but if I remember very vividly, because we were all watching that on Midvid, that was the first year for Midvid. I remember Caleb throwing up on the sideline. Yeah, I had to bring that up.
So we were lining up. It was probably, I believe it was Southern Boone had just had the ball to start off with. I could be wrong. We were on defense originally. And, man, a lot of us played both ways. And when you're not in shape, I'll say Coach Thomas shape, you're playing both ways is a different animal. And especially when you're playing other corn-fed kids that are just, it's a fist fight in a phone booth.
Yeah.
He lined up. We were running 4 power, the infamous 4 power. And I just remember Caleb saying in the huddle, like, man, I don't really feel good. And we were like, hey, man, we gotta score here. Then, you know, we'll get you a break. Like, we'll have somebody rotate in on kickoff. And he lines up on the line like he's about to run a pass and just threw up. I'll give you credit. Threw up to the side, threw up again, and then put his mouthpiece in and ran the play. Those are the kids that we were dealing with. That's how we would not let anybody replace us on that field. We're like, nope, we're winning every game until we couldn't, and that's what happened.
You know, and I just ask you that Southern Boone game because that was such a, you know, I felt like for you guys, kind of like with the conditioning and stuff like that, it was kind of like a little taste of adversity. It didn't necessarily, you guys won, you guys kicked their ass, but it didn't really go like that kind of way that we were accustomed to, I'd say, in years past or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that game was just, I mean, I remember Michael Moody was our center, wasn't in the best shape. We knew that going into the season, and he wasn't fully confident in himself, so we had to raise him up. Like, hey, man, you're the guy. You're our center. It all starts with you. Just like, I mean, Mason Baker knew it. He was like, hey, this play doesn't happen without me. If I make one wrong step and the ball snaps, fumble, turnover, Josie can't get the ball. It's the same thing with Jeffrey. We worked a lot with him, and, man, that huddle was just huffing, puffing. And what's even crazier is while we were in the huddle, we were still joking with each other. We were still going back and forth, making jokes, like talking about what we're going to do after the game. Because, I mean, that game, and not to discredit Southern Boone, but they were just not on our level. Whether we were tired or not, we were dog tired. I remember having to use one of the underclassmen to help me walk back to the bus because my legs were just swollen to pieces, beat up. It was a tough game, but it was just out of shape, I believe.
And, you know, did that game kind of help you moving forward? Like, hey, we gotta get in shape. We gotta get in shape fast. What was that kind of like with Coach Thomas? Because I know he's very open and honest about like, hey, how do you guys feel your conditioning is? Do we need to do it? Do we not need to do it? And so, what was that kind of like for you guys?
We got the big Coach Thomas talk at halftime. They're not on our level. What are we doing? But I think he really wasn't that upset with the performance because he knew that we conditioned with what we had.
Yeah, that's another thing to say. This is during COVID. Go back 4 years. This was not an easy time.
No, I mean this is just when the big mandatory state got lifted, like where you could leave your house unless you were an essential worker. Like this had just got lifted. It was still recommended not to travel out of state, which we can get into that earlier on the season ending. But yeah, we were in the heart of COVID, and that was, I would say that because you guys got the tail end of it before you graduated.
We got the tail end of it. That's what I've always said. We got the tail end of it. You guys got the full brunt of it.
Yeah, we had red and black days, so they split it up last names. So the red was like A through, I want to say R, and then the rest of the kids went. So we went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We went Monday, Wednesday. They went Tuesday, Thursday.
And just that. Because that's a lot to deal with as you're going to school, but how do you deal with that is like playing football. Like, how did that mess up the routine and the timing and all that type of things?
It definitely, I would say, because here's the deal, whether we were at school or not, the football team came every day because we had to meet at 2:30 or 3:30 or whatever for practice. But it was definitely weird because, you had a lot of kids that were like trying to catch up with their friends, understandably, but you had us seniors and us the juniors that were like, hey guys, like we can do our talking later, but we got work to do. And some of them looked crazy at us because we were like, hey, that Southern Boone game wasn't our best, and they were like, what do you mean? Like we played pretty good. We smacked them in the face and won. And I was like, no, that score should have been 60-0. And instead I think they scored one. I'd love to remember the score, but I don't remember it.
I couldn't tell you either.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. And I want to ask you a little bit about this too, the culture, because I know you guys kept the row the boat motto, and that's I love it. I kind of wish we'd still do it, but what was kind of that culture like? Was it a little bit different from 2019? I know it is different because it's a different locker room,
I think, and I don't want anybody to take offense to it, I think the row the boat had more meaning that year. Just because it was quite literally, and I said this to a lot of the seniors, it was us versus everybody.
You guys faced a hell of a lot of adversity.
Yeah, we had a lot of losses that year. We had COVID, obviously the season how that ended. Nobody wanted us to touch that field, and when you get a bunch of greedy kids that are like, I don't even care if I'm, which I don't want to say it, but failing classes, put me on the football field. And I remember I gave a speech whenever they tried to cancel us the first time. So that when we got canceled, it wasn't the first time that it had happened. Mm-hmm. The way it ended was just because Misha wouldn't bend the rules for playoffs, but they would bend the rules for COVID. And it still to this day makes me very upset that they can't push back a playoff game another week. But yeah, dude, it was us versus the world. And I think that's what makes us so close. Is it was just, we were sitting there and our backs were against the wall and we just kept pushing. We had to move mountains together. So I think that's what made the culture and the row the boat so much easier. And I even said most of the time, like, hey, we're rowing our own boat. Because Coach Thomas used to say the community and everybody, while we were in the boat, were rowing us. And the compass and all that meaning. And it was literally us. Like, the coaches were our compass. We were rowing our own boat while we were trying to sit comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was such a tough time, Gabe. I couldn't even imagine, I wasn't there. I mean, I'm at college, and just to see that on a level for you guys that it's hard to play high school football, the thing you love to do. And so I want to ask you a little bit about that first cancellation and kind of describe it to me, because I'm going to be a little bit honest. I know that you guys did get canceled, and that's how the season ended, but I didn't maybe get all the details of the first one, so I'm going to let you kind of take over here.
So the first one was... I'm trying to remember. I don't think anybody got sick. The first time was just, hey, this is too dangerous. I think the news got a hold of people where people were passing away, which is unfortunate, not discrediting anybody that lost a family member during COVID. But, I mean, we look at it now and they're like, it's influenza. It may be a little more extended and it does a little more to your body, like losing your taste and you don't really get it back, or your smell. But I think people were getting so wrapped up in it that they were like, we don't want our kids to have to go through this, but we didn't care. We were like, obviously back to the Caleb Kerman thing, I'll puke on the football field and keep playing. You could break my nose and I'll keep playing. Like that J.J. Watt picture. Like,
yeah,
that's how much we love football. And they gave us the chance to talk about it. And that was right after like Cade and Sophie that year. And when we got to speak our minds, they let us. Not a whole lot of people. If people are listening to this, they probably do. Football players all sat in the front row, and we basically just went up to the school board and tried to articulate, why we needed football and why we needed this. And it kind of made us mad because a couple people went up there and was like, hey, listen, we get it with these football kids that want to play football, but we got to think about the safety. And then you'd have a football player go up there and be like, man, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll play football. I'll wear a mask, which we had those gaiters.
Mm-hmm.
Misha had it a rule that if you were not playing, and it was really bad at the beginning, huddle, not actual playing, you had to have it above your mouth and nose. Doesn't do anything when you're bear hugging the kid across you. Like
sweating on each other and all those things.
Right. If I put my gaiter up right after I get done tackling some dude and I'm on top of him skin to skin, the only thing separating us is our football jerseys, and then I put my mask up, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Then it got changed to you had to wear it on the sideline. So everybody that wasn't playing had to have it up, which got in the way, and we had to be in a lot better shape because of it. Or we would, Misha made it a rule, you would get, what do you want to call it?
15-yard unsportsmanlike.
You'd get ejected.
Oh.
Yeah. You'd get ejected. The first one, I think, was a 15-yard unsportsmanlike. And if it was the same player the next time, you'd get ejected. It was strict.
Fun. No, that's really strict.
Yeah.
And, because you think about it, and it's like, you're playing a game. You don't want to have to worry about, and then you got to think about, I got a chin strap on, I got a mouthpiece on. How many people and I knew I wore one, the pacifier. You wear where am I going to put it over my pacifier? And that was for more airflow.
Yeah.
So it's crazy the kind of things you guys had to go through. And you mentioned something that I really wanted to talk about was because I know, once again, kind of hitting adversity, we lost Cade Cale before that season and Sophie Patrick, two huge people in this community, two great friends, two great teammates. And so I just wanted to ask you, because I know you had such a connection with them, what did it mean to play that season for them?
It was definitely hard with Cade coming here my junior year. And, at first everybody was like, man, I don't know. This kid's coming from Kansas. I'm not too sure about him. And that dude fit in like he grew up with us.
Exactly.
Loved the kid to death. Hung out with him outside of football. We hung out with him inside football. I mean, just an all-around good kid. Like, I don't think he really had a mean bone in his body. I've never seen that kid get upset at anybody. Except he had a switch on the football field, and that dude was an animal. One of the best tight ends that Odessa will ever see. Right next to, like, Carter Westerhold, Jackson Nelson.
Hunter Garrison.
I mean, a ton of... He's going to go down as one of the guys that was it. Sophie hit a little closer to home growing up with her. Like a little sister. And I think what affected me most is our sophomore year, we kind of started to get closer again. So we were kind of rebuilding that friendship from so long ago. With Faith Drennan and everybody like that. Like, we were all pretty close. And then I think it was just more of, we still felt like Cade was on the field with us at all times. We all felt like Sophie was still on the sideline cheering for us. So we dedicated it to, and also Bryce's mom, Heather. We had decals for him on our helmets, so we kind of kept him with him, and then obviously the flags for him too. Which that's another thing, is Bryce Palmer experienced a lot of adversity that year. His mom being sick, having to miss practices, and we were like, hey man, like miss what you need. I mean, that kid could miss a year of football and come back and be a freak athlete.
Oh yeah.
That kid can do it all. He's killing it in rugby right now. Him missing some practices, and we'd call him and try not to bother him too much because we knew what he had going on. But that kid, man, I couldn't imagine. That was a tough year for him too.
He's as tough as they come, and like I said, I got to make it out to some of those games because I was in college. To watch him do what he did on the biggest field, like I know Odessa's not the biggest field, but on the brightest stage, and to be him and to be his normal excellence, that I mean, it was a beautiful thing to watch, Gabe, and that's why I'm lucky that we got to play together and that we were teammates, and I got to watch Bryce do his thing, and he's still doing great things now.
That guy can shine light. He can shine bright under a light or in the darkness.
Yeah.
That dude is just talented through walkthroughs, through full 100%. We did do a little thing for him. We did the Red Solo Cup, Heather Strong in the fence. They kept that up for a really long time. For the rest of our senior year, I believe they kept it up. I don't know when they took it down. Yeah, man, it was special. Because it was just, I mean, back to the backs against the wall. I mean, everything was against us. Bryce's mom got sick. The 2 friends we lost. They're trying to cancel football. It's like, man, nobody wants us to have a regular year.
Season.
Yeah. We didn't have the luxury of all these kids that have the senior year that they have. We didn't get our senior homecoming. We got a senior prom, but in summer. We didn't get the luxury for a lot of it. So it was tough, but I think that's what we were fighting for.
I kind of want to flip it to more of a bright spot for you, and I just kind of wanted to ask you throughout that season, was there a game or moment for you that just felt like it stood out or it felt right to you, or just that maybe through all this chaos it felt like, hey, this is football?
Obviously beating Oak Grove. That was a big game for us. I think even beating Maryville. Because we came back and they beat us our sophomore year to go to the state quarterfinals. And I think just beating them, giving them the whooping that they deserved. No offense to any Maryville players, but
well, do you know what a spoof hound is?
I don't.
See, I don't either.
I don't
remember
know.
Coach Thomas telling us the story about that, and I will say, they came here when they came to the playoff game. I guess a bunch of fans were asking what is a spoof hound. Yeah, we got an email. Like I got an email saying like, oh, this is what it is. So I just wanted to ask you, do you know what a spoof hound is?
I don't. To this day, I don't, and I have not even looked into it.
Well, and I'll tell you this. I remember when you guys beat Maryville because that was like finally they got what they deserved, and it was no better to come from you guys, man, because you guys put a stomping on them.
Yeah, and I think it was necessarily like, obviously it wasn't their fault they beat us our sophomore year. Like they got to win football games, we got to win football games. But it's that sweet treat of like, you guys ended our season, now we just ended yours. And nobody was getting in our way. And a lot of people were actually nervous about that game. A lot of people didn't think and they were a good team, don't get me wrong. We were just significantly better, and we had all these things in mind. And when you have kids that are tooth and nail trying to win, like it's a tough thing to beat them.
And I just, what do you think this team would have accomplished had there been, say, no COVID?
I think we would have had, obviously, another state ring, which would have been sweet. It was going to come down to probably us and Blair Oaks, and I think the state game would have been a tough fight. I think we would have came out on top. I mean, once we got in our rhythm, and I think that was a big thing all season, is it took us a little longer to get in the rhythm, but, I mean, we were still putting up points. I mean, we beat all these teams 35, 0, 45, 50. Like, we were still doing what we did last year, and I think that's why we were like, I'm feeling another undefeated season. And once we got to that Maryville game, it was like, okay, well, we're not losing now. So it's either undefeated and win state, or we're going to lose and come up short.
When did it feel like for you that the team finally kicked in rhythm?
I think the P Hill game. The P Hill game was just something where we started to click. And I remember to this day, we were running, it was, we called it one trap or zero trap.
Yeah.
Where the guard, you put it right around Mason's butt and then would hit the linebacker. I told Blake Heitman, I said, listen, we're going to take this to the end zone. Just follow me. I grabbed that linebacker and I just kept running with him and threw him into the safety. So I blocked. It was actually one of my huddle highlights. One of my proudest moments is I blocked 3 people with one guy. Just threw him forward, knocked 2 guys over, and Blake Heitman took it to the house, and then it just kept going from there. It was like one burst play. Everybody blocked right, and he was gone. Him, Sean Batter, quick little dudes just gone once they... And I know we used to call Batter Bouncy Bowder.
Yeah, Bouncy. Because he'll bounce it to the outside.
Yep. He got out of that really fast because we were like, man, it's a small hole. You're a skinny dude. Fit through it, and you're gone, dude. Mm-hmm. And once he started clicking that, he was putting up Blake Heitman numbers. So it was good to see. I think that game was...
And that's a credit to how great the offensive line was because I know you, Houston, I think Moody, Ammon Dawson joined that line, and I'm missing somebody here. Clayton. You guys were a ferocious offensive line, a very, like, the way Odessa offensive lines have been for the past couple seasons before that. I mean, you guys, I loved watching you guys just because I think you were like me in a sense. You were very good at pulling. Mm-hmm. You were very, very good at it, and it was probably one of your strengths. Like you said, you take out 3 guys on one pull. Yeah. That's what we want, you know?
Yeah. It's, we weren't very big. Granted, everybody that knows Houston and Clay, they're all very tall, but Clay wasn't near as big as he is now.
No, he was like, Meyer, your height at that point.
He was taller, but he didn't weigh but 210, 215, 220. And that's what I was weighing my senior year. And Moody, not a very big dude, just short and stocky. And I think that's what it was, is it was like, we're going to get you guys close, and we're going to take you to the ground, or we're moving you. One way or another, we're getting it done. And Coach Blank did a very good job of prepping us that year, because it was like, hey, you guys aren't 6'7", bench pressing 400 pounds. Stop standing straight up, run through people. Mm-hmm. And once we got that mindset, I mean, especially when you got Clay coming around, that's a big dude coming at you. And I think that's just, it was awesome. It was...
I still love Houston for the fact of, I don't know if he still did it when you remember when you just hear a random scream and he's sitting over there, Raw! Yeah, and he's just chucking a guy half across the field, and you're like, Houston, gosh darn, man.
Yeah, he is, he's even bigger now and even stronger now.
Yeah, I went to Truman State.
Yeah, he's, dude, he was a good, it was crazy to me to think that he's an offensive line, or an offensive tackle at high school. But when you get to that college level, he's a guard and center because he's not the biggest dude out there. And he wasn't. He played guard a lot in college. And I was like, I mean, that's a transition. But that dude was fast, too, for how big he was.
Yes. Such an athlete with athletic abilities.
Yes.
Like, and that was the same thing. I'm not trying to get off topic here. Baker is athletic as can be, man. Like, he can move and groove, like, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't think that big kid can move, and he proved them wrong. That dude had some good footwork.
Baker's so athletic.
Yes. I mean, watching him do ladders is still to this day impressive.
Oh, yeah. He's got such quick feet. Like, it was so impressive.
Yeah. It was amazing.
So, I kind of wanted to ask you, get to the kind of the ending of the season. And so, I'll let you kind of describe it. But the big question I want to ask you is, how was it for you being, 17, 18 years old and have to deal with that and have to say, well, now, what am I going to have to do? Because you got to move on, and it's not the outcome you desired. But how was it for Gabe to accept that result?
So, it took a while because, I mean, man, you ask these other guys like Houston, Bryce, Caleb, Jake, all these guys I was really close with, as I was settling for nothing less than All-State. I was like, I'm getting my face on that wall at the high school. I'm going to go down as an underdog. Nobody thought I'd be an All-State. Came up short because of the COVID thing. You can't nominate as many people. And I Coach Thomas may have mentioned, I don't remember. I was nominated but not picked. There's limited people that could get picked for it. So not accepting that was a little hard. But then it was like, all right, man, like, can't get tied up in high school. I gotta move on. And I think it was just, it's still to this day, and a lot of people will say, man, stop living in high school. It's not even that. It's just, I knew what we were capable of. I knew what that team was going to do. And it just had to come up short because of a couple coughs and sneezes, man.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah. And, I just wanted to say, I know you're close with a lot of these guys that we've talked about throughout this episode. What does it mean for you? I mean, I saw you hanging out with, Clay and Jake and them last night. What does it mean to still have a relationship with these guys and that you guys have this kind of, commonality together?
I think that year was important, regardless, and I'll say it even without COVID or anything like that. Football's a sport that will just bring a bunch of boys together, and they're going to mesh. Really, I don't want to say no matter what, but it's 98% of the time they're going to be friends. Just because, you're sitting there, you're conditioning, you're throwing up together, you're working out together. When you're in high school and you play a sport, you eat, breathe, and sleep that sport. If you take it to the extreme level that we did. And I think that helped us. Like, everything that we went through, I think it just bonded us. And, I'll say to this day, most of those guys are still my good friends to this day. And we're talking 4 years, 5 years later. Coming up on our 5-year reunion next year.
Just went to mine last weekend, so...
Really? How was that?
Get ready for that. It's not a lot of people are going to show up. I bet you all your friends are going to... Like, Jake, Houston, they're all going to be there. And then it's going to be like, where's everybody else?
Right. Yeah, so that's what's cool about it, too, is, I think that whether we all go to the reunion or not, we hang out outside of that.
You still got that brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. We're always going to be tied together. It'll always go down as, I tell my girlfriend this to this day, I play football with him, he's one of my best friends. And she's like, wow, you got a lot of best friends. And it's you ain't got to talk to him every day to be best friends. It's just as soon as you see that person, it clicks, you hang out. We plan on hanging out tonight, too, at Puddle Jumper, so it's exciting.
And I was going to say, it's kind of like how I think we did this. You know what I mean? I came to you. You were like, let's do it. And I know it took a long time to get here, but we did it. And, I got one last question for you. I know you love Odessa. You've been here for a while. And what did it mean for you to get to wear this jersey and wear Odessa across that chest? What did it mean to spend your 4 years there?
I always loved small town. I wasn't ever a big, where I work now, Blue Springs South and Blue Springs High School, they're graduating with 1,000 kids. It could be more, it could be less, I don't know. It's somewhere around that, and it's just insane to me. And we graduate with 170, maybe 200 kids. Mm-hmm. So, and I think, a lot of people treat high school football in this town like it's the NFL. Man, when you're rolling and you're on a roll, you're not necessarily handing out autographs. But, people see you and they know, oh, you're on that team. How is it? Little kids, aspire to be you. Obviously, with the way our season ended, we didn't get a lot of that praise because, not a lot of people could go. You had to get a ticket, and it was, a player got 4 or 5 tickets maybe. And it's man, how are we supposed to fill these seats up? They still got full, but not
Not like it was a
fence to fence. Yeah, fence to fence. You can't sit down. You're shoulder to shoulder.
Football in the back,
Yeah, and I'll touch a little bit on how the season ended, because it kind of ended abruptly. So basically, we knew it was coming. We all basically got told hey, now we're coming down to playoffs. You weren't supposed to travel anyway, per the governor and other states were I think the only one that was allowing was Florida, the southern states. We basically got told hey man, we've got a month left, a month of grind, and then we don't care what you do. We got a month to just dial in, win these football games, go to practices, be done, wear a ring again. It came down to won't name names on the podcast, but somebody got sick. Basically, parents did the right thing and told people. That's not what we're upset about. What we're upset about is how the person got sick. Coach Thomas told us not in a controlling way, but was hey, one mess up and the season's done now. Mm-hmm. Because playoff is 1 week at a time. You don't get 2 weeks. And long story short, got sick. Nobody else got sick. We were all willing to take tests. We were all hey man, we'll all take COVID tests. Whoever tests positive, unfortunately, we'll just have them miss that playoff game.
Yeah.
That's not how they wanted to do it. They quarantined the whole team. We knew. Obviously, we knew who the guy was, but we knew it was coming when he missed school, and we were like, he's quarantined, and we were like, it's coming. We're getting canceled. Right after we beat Maryville, we were supposed to play. Man, I can't remember their names. They wore the red jerseys.
Is it? I'm gonna say Trinity Catholic. No.
William is it Chrisman?
Chrisman, maybe William.
Maybe it was one of those teams that.
The only reason I was asking that is because was it the year before, the team before that we were super scared of, and then Cassville beat them.
Trinity Catholic was that team. We weren't playing them.
It wasn't them.
But I knew they were probably going to be our semi-playoff or our state championship. They're them Blair Oaks or whatever. I think it was William Chris. I'm not 100% sure. We were like Wednesday in, and we got out of our last class, and we were all like, all right, let's go practice. It's time. I think either superintendent or principal got on the intercom and was like, hey, everybody on the football team meet in the auditorium. And we were like, here it comes. And Coach Thomas was tearing up because he said, no, I'm telling them. He was like, they're my boys. I'm going to tell them. And, yeah, we got told that, football season's over. I mean, none of us really even looked up. We were just all looking down at the floor. We even got asked, like, okay, can we leave now? Stop letting us sit here. And then it was just walk out to the parking lot, and it was just disbelief, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I hate it to this day, but Misha put a 1 because we had to forfeit, so it counted as a loss. And I was like, nope. Nobody beat us that year but COVID. Nobody beat us. And so that's kind of how the season ended. It was like, well, there's nothing we can do. We tried everything. We were like, hey, man, like, we'll take tests. We'll show that we're negative. Like, this kid wasn't even at practice that week before, so how could we get sick?
Yeah.
And I think it was just because he was a player. They were like, man.
A lot of the protocols and stuff like that.
Yep. And that's how it came down.
It's just unfortunate because, like I've said, like we've talked about, you guys know how good you were. And I don't think there's a team that would have stopped you. Like you said, I think Blair Oaks would have been a little bit of adversity, but Gabe, you guys were so phenomenal to watch.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it did end that way, but I mean, you guys know what you would have did, and I think in your hearts, you can walk away knowing that.
Yeah. And I think it was cool too that they had the mid-vid where you guys, if you guys didn't have a ticket, you could still watch. And everybody that watched the stream or was at the game, they saw it too. And I know they did. They were like, wow, this team is going to do what the 2019 team did, if not more. Mm-hmm. There's not more you can do, going undefeated and winning a state championship. But we were set to do the same thing. And if anybody wants to sit there, I'll sit down and have an hour debate with somebody saying, like, why do you think we wouldn't? And I would lay down all the points of why we would have. And I think everybody kind of knows that too.
I think you guys just did such a good job at not skipping a beat. You guys didn't. Like, other than that Southern Boone game, you guys didn't really skip a beat. You just kind of, like you said, you kicked it in rhythm. And, I mean, I believe it. I believe it as well as anybody else. So,
yeah, it was a special team. I'll say that.
Well, with that being said, I'll open it up to anything else you want to say, Gabe. I can't thank you enough for coming in and doing this, man.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to say other than, they got a new coach, a lot of new faces on the team. I mean, we're getting so old now where it's like, I don't even know who's playing anymore.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that these kids were 5th, 4th grade, maybe playing middle school ball. Not even, because they would have had to been in 8th grade. So, yeah, it's like a lot of these kids were the ones giving us fist bumps. Now they're wearing the jerseys, so it's awesome to see.
And I don't know if this is kind of like, for me, I remember the 2015 team. We looked up to those guys. I think that was I give a big credit to them as a reason that we were able to do what we were able to do because they showed us that it was possible.
Yeah, and also, man, they got to play in the St. Louis, at the time, the St. Louis Rams, and I'm pretty sure they lost that game to Blair Oaks.
It was John Burroughs.
Yeah, John Burroughs, that's what it was. Yeah, man, it was cool. I looked up to them, and then it was us in the spotlight, and I was like, now these kids that are putting on the jerseys looked up to us, and then, man, once these kids are gone, it's just a pattern of small-town football.
And that's what we're all about. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Gabe, for your time. This has been a fantastic interview, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We are at the end of the episode for Sports Timeout. A big thank you to everybody who listened, and we hope you guys have really enjoyed it. A big thank you goes out to Gabe Arrington as well for coming in and talking with me. It meant a lot, and he's still an exciting character just as he was in high school. Make sure you're picking up your copy of the Odessan as we switch to more of this guest format just for a little bit to get all the updates on all the other sports and action that you're missing, as well as news in local government. So I want to thank you guys for listening again, and we'll see you next week.